Hello, we're going to talk about an interesting way to shift internal states, deal with negative thought patterns and emotions. This is based on the Sedona Method. And the Sedona Method is a book that can be purchased. There are courses and other ways of diving into the material. I really like it because it's really simple, straightforward, easy, and can be highly effective. And it's based on three questions. And we'll get into the questions in a moment. But just to give a bit of a baseline, the unconscious mind primary job is safety and survival. And in order to do that effectively, it needs to be able to retrieve information. So if something like polka dots were determined by yourself or your ancestors to be unsafe, then the unconscious mind needs to know when we come across polka dots that, oh, polka dots are unsafe, so therefore XYZ, or polka dots are safe. And when we are around polka dots, we're okay. So in order to retrieve material, the unconscious mind has a very powerful search engine, and the search engine works way faster than anything that we have currently on the internet. So it works almost, I would say, at the speed of light, and it can cross-reference and it can go through a lot of data very quickly in order to ensure that we are safe. So that's one of the ways that the unconscious mind keeps us in a good place, surviving and doing well. And when we ask a question, that's the same as typing into a search bar. So say you type in polka dots into a search bar, then that's equivalent to what our unconscious mind can do. So when we ask a question, then the unconscious mind starts looking for the answer very quickly. A lot of people will say that the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves is very important for the kinds of success that we want in life. So if I'm asking myself questions like, why am I so clumsy? Or why do things never work out for me? Then the answer may not even be true. It may be that I'm not clumsy at all, or things always do work out for me. But if I ask the question often enough, then the unconscious mind will start manufacturing episodes of being clumsy or looking for times when things don't work out for me. Because one of the other principles of the unconscious mind is that you are always right. And it's always looking to confirm that your thoughts, your experience of the world is correct. So I might want to eliminate some of the questions that I'm asking myself aloud or in my mind that don't support the kind of life that I want to live. So questions that are empowering, like, why do things always seem to work out for me? And how can I have a wonderful day today that is full of joy, love, laughter, and productivity? How can I slim down easily and effectively with foods that I delight in eating and wonderful meals? So this whole topic of empowering questions is one that we'll get to in another video. But for now, as we come to the questions that the Sedona Method uses, these are questions that you can ask aloud or in your mind. And I like it because if I find that I'm stuck on a loop of a particular thing that's bugging me, it's easier to switch to the questions than it is to switch out of the loop. So if I'm in a loop of something that's really bugging me and I'm going over it over and over and over again, then telling myself, oh, stop thinking about that is a little harder. What is easier is like, well, you could think about that if you want, but let's just switch to these questions and see where that takes us. And the three questions are, could I let this blank go? Would I let this blank go? When? So the way it will play out is something like, could I let this anxiety go? Would I let this anxiety go? When? Could be sadness, could be grief, it could be anger. You can also apply it to beliefs. So could I let this belief that nothing ever works out for me go? And so as we ask these questions, what I tend to do is I tend to just repeat them in my mind until I start to feel a shift and I start to feel a little better. And the really neat thing about these questions is you don't need to answer them. So as I might be in a state of anxiety and I ask myself, could I let this anxiety go? My answer might be a very clear no. No, I'm not letting this go. And I could be in quite a lot of resistance to letting it go. And that's okay. That's not a problem. All you have to do is ask the question. And as I said, I tend to repeat them just so I can kind of get into a little bit of a state. But you can just ask the questions once and just then move on to something else. So could I let this go? Would I let this go? When? Ask the question in your unconscious mind as to when this is going to happen, because I could let this go when I'm in my 90s, but I probably want to let it go a lot sooner. So as the unconscious mind starts looking for ways to letting it go, the equivalent, as I said, of typing into a search engine, the unconscious mind starts looking for ways to let it go, even though the conscious mind can be very clear, this is not possible, this is never going to happen, I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. And it's really cool because I find if I'm in a place where I'm anxious and I start pushing the anxious away, that takes energy. And I can get involved with this kind of tug of rope thing of, you know, anxious, I don't want you in my life, you need to go. But we're getting into this fight where anxious and I are engaging with each other. When we ask the questions, it's a subtler, gentler, softer way of shifting the state, of allowing the anxiety. I'm acknowledging it, I'm noticing that it's here, but could I let it go? Would I let it go? When? Just is less of a fight and it makes it easier and it's not such a big deal anymore. So one of the things that I will do is I will use the Sedona method sometimes with my tapping. So I may be tapping on, even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself anyway. Could I let this anxiety go? Would I let this anxiety go? When? All this anxiety, I think I may have this for the rest of my life. Could I let this go? Would I let this go? When? Giving myself permission to let all of this anxiety go and letting it go in a timely way. Could I let this anxiety go? Would I let this anxiety go? When? Could I let this anxiety go? Would I let this anxiety go? When? Take a deep breath and then just check in on how are you feeling with this? Is this feeling like there's been a little bit of a shift? As I've mentioned previously, it is helpful to do a 0 to 10 scale of where I'm at with the anxiety. So then when I check in at the end of it, and take a deep breath and just see, oh yeah, it's softened a little bit, it's come down a little bit, or maybe it's come down a lot. And then with the Sedona method, I found that I can just repeat this in my mind as I'm going about, maybe I'm shopping, maybe I'm driving, maybe I'm doing something else. It's a way of multitasking that's not particularly onerous. And just to know that you can tap on these points, you can just hold or rub a point, and just to notice, could I let this go? Would I let this go? When? And then as we shift into letting go, You can tap in the positive. So, could I let myself have some calm and peace? Would I let myself be a little calmer, more peaceful, allowing some more calm and peace? All this calm and peace. Could I allow this? Would I let this be present in me? All of this calm, all of this peace. Would that be okay? Could I allow this calm and peace, this comfort? Would I allow this calm, peace, and comfort? When? All this calm, peace, and comfort, calm, peace, and comfort. Could I allow this? Would this be okay? Would I allow this? When? So as we can tap in the positive after we shift and let go of what we don't want, that can also be interesting as well. So thank you for checking in. You can get the Sedona book, the Sedona Method as a book if you want. There's information online as well. This may be all you ever do with it, but it's a very powerful, very effective technique that can be done anywhere, anytime. If you have children, teach your kids. It's a fast, easy way to make some changes. And if you're talking with somebody, a friend, a family member who's perhaps a bit stuck on something and that person is just going over and over and over again with that stuck place, then you can bring these questions up and just allow your friend, your family member to just know that it's okay to still resist, but the unconscious mind will find an interesting way to make some changes in this. And it might be right away. It may take some days. It may take some weeks to just trust that this process, the internal processing in your unconscious mind is working because your unconscious mind loves you. It wants you to be happy. It wants you to do well. So work with your unconscious and start giving your unconscious mind the kinds of direction that can allow it to help you in some very successful and wonderful ways.